Welcome to the Undisputed podcast. I'm your host, Jenny Taft. This podcast is the full show from today's episode of Undisputed from start to finish. They've got a busy slate, so Skip, Shannon, let's get to it.
Welcome to Undisputed, everybody. Happy Monday. We are live from Los Angeles. I'm Jen Ham here with Skip Bayless.
What a weekend we had.
Shannon Sharpe.
What a weekend. Oh, really?
Supplies.
I thought it was parade day today. I thought we were going to have a parade downtown L.A. Is it for the Clippers?
Oh, number two got me too.
He got you too?
Oh, number two. Wow.
Hey, would you believe we have the audio tape of my reaction when I first heard this bombshell drop late Friday night here in Los Angeles? DJ dropped that track. That was me. Did you hear that? That was me.
Oh, you proud of yourself, huh?
Yeah, that was me. Way to go. Here we go.
Oh, that Kawhi pulled a fast one. So
He did.
He got him.
He did. He got you.
Might be a tough day for Shannon today. Let's get right to it, as painful as it is for my compadre. After days of anxious waiting, we now know Kawhi Leonard will be a Clipper. He's signing a 4-year max contract with the other LA team, choosing the Clippers over the Lakers or a return to Toronto. But that's not all. The Claw will go to battle next season with Paul George by his side. The Clippers surrendered a ton of assets to OKC to close this deal, including 5 first-round picks. Shannon, to rub a little salt in the wound, I'm sorry, but you did predict there was a 96.5% chance Kawhi was going to the Lakers. So take me back to Friday. How disappointed were you when you heard the news?
Of course I'm disappointed. Skip, I've said it from the very beginning. If the Lakers can open up a max slot, the only guy that's worth giving that max slot money to is Kawhi Leonard. And it seemed from all indication, from what we were hearing, basically it was a 2-team race. It was Toronto Raptors and the LA Lakers. And I thought the Lakers had the inside track, AD, LeBron James, him being in LA. It just seemed from all indications. And the only reason I said the Clippers were excluded, Skip, I could not see a scenario where they got a player to pair with him. I'm like, Dame Lillard is not leaving Portland. Giannis is not leaving Milwaukee. I'm going all over. I'm like, okay, big guy. Okay, who could he get that want to go to the Clippers? Paul George never registered on my radar for the simple fact, Skip, he had just signed a 4-year deal last year. So I'm like, well, he's out of options. He wants to go with someone.
I agree.
The only place he can go, if he's not going back to Toronto, he's going to the Lakers. And lo and behold, they're working behind the scenes and they pulled this off. It's coming to find what we know now, Skip. He had his mind made that he wanted to go to the Clippers only if they could get a second star. And he kept delaying. When everybody said, oh, he's going to make an announcement on Wednesday, it's going to be Thursday, it's going to be early Friday. What he was doing was allowing Jerry West to work behind the scenes to get this deal done. And they were able to pull it off. And I was out Friday, and another earthquake happened, Skip. But I think it was...
This was an even bigger one.
It was an even bigger one than the Thursday one.
Yep.
But the bigger shock was, the bigger quake was to come about 35 minutes later when breaking news, everything was stopped. Kawhi Leonard goes to signs with the Clippers. And then a minute later, Paul George is traded to the Clippers. I'm like, where did this come from? And then when you find out, Skip, what they had to give up to get Paul George, the Clippers, they gave up more to get Paul George than the Lakers gave up to get Anthony Davis.
Depending on how the picks turn out.
Picks turn out, yeah.
But I got you.
Skip, you give up what? 4 unprotected, 1 protected, and 2 flips.
Swaps,
and Gallinari and
Shai Gilgeous-Alexander.
So that's about 6-7 players. So I was surprised. I was very disappointed that they weren't able to pull this off. But I understand it. There was a lot of things that started working against the Lakers.
Yep.
I don't know what Magic hoped to accomplish by saying that I talked to Kawhi and he reached out to me. I don't understand. That was the first right there. Kawhi said, see, I can't trust you guys.
That is correct. Magic helped do in the team he so dearly loves.
He's like, I can't trust you guys.
Yep.
I give you one specific task. And the same thing with Toronto. He's like, how the hell they knew I was coming back? How the helicopters get up here? How all these people lined up? And the one team that kept hush-hush, Nothing got out. Not one peep, Skip, was the Clippers. Skip, I was shocked that they were able to pull this off. They gave up a lot. And in this day and time, with social media, all these insiders, nobody had anything, Skip. How were they able? The president can't even do anything without it getting out. How were they able to keep this hush-hush for 24, 48, 72 hours is unbeknownst to me. But I tell you what, Skip Bayless, the new sheriff, he doesn't say much, has his hair cornrowed, he has a ginormous hammer. And he swung it, and when he struck the ground, the earth moved.
Literally. Maybe that's why we had a second earthquake or third earthquake.
But to make a long story short, Skip, I'm a little disappointed, but all isn't lost. So what happened? Okay, so we didn't play Terrence Ross, $15 million for 3 years. We didn't get J.J. Redick, $13.5 for 2 years.
Yep.
We got pretty much everything else. We got JaVale back, got Rondo, but we got Danny Green, signed Boogie Cousins to a very friendly deal. I'm not getting Kawhi, but getting these other pieces lessened some of the blow. But don't think I wasn't in my rooms, sourpuss for a couple hours.
You were a sourpuss for a little while?
A couple hours.
I started to text you, but I
No, you
decided not
didn't.
to.
Don't text me, Skip. You see, you want
So, I must admit, I left this show on Friday thinking, I give up. I give up. It's coming. Here it comes.
Yep.
We're going to have another big three this time in L.A. at Staples, and it's going to be the Lakers. It's going to be LeBron. It's going to be AD, and it's going to be Shannon's new man, number 2. And I'm going to have to hear about this for a whole long year. And you laughed at me all day long on Friday, and I took it because I thought you were right, because I don't know. I just have to go by the media reports, and everybody was wrong. Everybody across the board. Nobody reported this.
No.
I did mention on Tuesday, I got to give my friend Brian Windhorst at ESPN this much. He did say he wants to be a Clipper, but then it seemed like it was impossible because after Jimmy Butler went to Miami, I thought that was the only other option that was viable, that was out there, but I didn't know he could pull this off. So, Friday night, I'm at my place with my wife and my little daughter, Hazel, our little Maltese, and the earth moves. Literally, it moved again. And it was such a big shake for my wife and her sister, Joyce, who's from New York. They're both from New York, so they haven't been through this. So Joyce lives away, not too far from us. So she comes over, and we're all saying, is it going to happen again? Is it going to happen again? And my household is literally upside down because all the pictures fell, and they think, are we going to get hit with another one?
Right.
So they can't go to sleep, and I'm trying to watch the Zion game, but then at halftime they say, Zion banged knees with somebody, he's out and might be gone for the rest of the summer league, right?
Correct.
But I still have the game on, and I'm still trying to keep up with it. And then finally, I'm wearing out, and it seems like they're calming down enough, and I think, okay, that's it, because I get up at 2 o'clock in the morning. You get up early. We all get up early. Yeah. And so I hadn't had a nap. And so I'm starting to look at 24 hours up. And I said, it's almost 11 o'clock. It's over. We got to stop this. We got to calm down and go to sleep. And I think, you know what? I'll just check the computer one more time. Boom! We went from earthquake to bombshell. And I just sat back. And when I first saw the headline, I thought it was a Laker headline. I did. I saw L.A. and I thought, oh, God. That's it. But then what? Paul George? What?
Yeah.
They got on red jerseys in their mock-ups? What?
I thought it was a joke at first.
I didn't know what it was. And then the last laugh I got, because I just sat back and I said, he just did to the Lakers exactly what he did to my Spurs. He is number 2 and always will be number 2 to me, because in the end, he burned you just the way he burned me. He duped the Lakers, I believe, into really believing they had a shot at signing him. And they hung on when all along, I think from the start, his heart was set on Clippers. So he took you, Lakers, and the media for one long ride. And it seemed endless. It was a hell of a ride. He played all of us like a fiddle. And in the end, I had to step back and applaud how brilliantly devious this guy was, because this is devious to me. What he did to my Spurs was devious. I'm going to say it one more time just for those who are newcomers to this. But he quit his way out of San Antonio because he exaggerated a thigh bruise into some sort of serious thigh injury, and he missed 73 games, and he was basically saying, I want out. Right. Just get me out of here. Get me to L.A. And when they wouldn't trade him to Lakers or Clippers, I don't know if they tried both. Who knows what happened? They weren't going to do that anyway. Right. They shipped his butt up to Toronto. But it was going to be just 1 year, one stopover, because his heart was still set and his vision was focused on, I think, Clippers. Mm-hmm. So he bamboozled everybody, especially the Lakers. And I'm going to push back on one thing you said. And I'm going to give you this. The Lakers rallied nicely on Saturday. Mm-hmm. They did the best they could, although I thought they gave Danny Green maybe a little too much money at $15 million a year.
Well, the thing was the
Dallas
Mavericks
had him.
Yeah, the Mavericks had him, so you had to. All right. Because I thought 10 would have been perfect.
Okay, but in the big picture, when he finally stealth bombed you, you had to sit back and think, wait a second. What if we could have had enough intel, Lakers, which I don't trust the front office right now, but what if somebody could have read the tea leaves correctly? Because I'm reading the Toronto Star report from yesterday in which it says that the indications were early, all through the playoffs, that he, number two, and Uncle Dennis Robertson were focused on the Clippers. So again, this is probably coming from, I'm guessing, Masai Ujiri or somebody within the Toronto front office. Right. Their read on this was he was focused on the Clippers from the start. So do the hypothetical. What if the Lakers had just said, there's no way he wants us? There's no way he wants to team up with LeBron and AD. What if you had been able to shoot big? What if you'd been able to go after any? Seriously, do you think Kyrie would have thought about it? Right. If you'd gone to Kyrie way before, this would have to be 2 weeks ago, right?
You said something very interesting, not to cut you off, but you said that when he complained, sought himself down out of the Spurs, he said, I want to go to the Lakers.
He just wanted to go home.
Was that a ploy? Said, no, we won't trade you to the Lakers. We'll trade you to the Clippers, knowing that was his destination all along. He
is a shrewd operator, number two.
That's what it tells me now,
Okay,
Skip.
all right. But my point is, did he sabotage the Lakers from the start by trying to string them along, right? Because do the hypothetical. What if you could have gone after Kyrie from the start? Now, I'm going back a week before the official start of free agency a week ago Sunday.
I don't believe Kyrie was coming.
Okay, but you don't know. Right. What if you go to him and you say, hey, would he not be, to me, the perfect fit with LeBron and AD? Yeah. He's the perfect fit. Mm-hmm. And again, if he had indeed made peace with LeBron, I'm just doing the big picture hypothetical.
Okay.
And then you look at all the big players. Would Clay have thought about it if you'd gone right to Clay a week before?
I don't think so.
Maybe not.
I don't think so.
Okay.
He wanted to fight. He wanted the max contract.
I got it. Would Jimmy Butler, if you had just gone to him right away and said, we're out on Kawhi, we want you, would he have thought twice about it instead of going to Miami? I don't know. No. So now you're down to J.J. Redick. You missed on him. Terrence Ross. I love Terrence Ross. Again, you missed on him, so it starts to fall down levels. And I give you this. They rallied nicely, but I still think number two's ploy from the start was to sabotage what was going to be his arch rival, the team that shares the building that he was going to be in.
Skip, I don't believe he intentionally did it, but what this tells me about Kawhi Leonard, that he's a lot smarter than we give him credit for. We take his silence as that he doesn't understand what's going on. We take that he has the same vehicle for the longest time.
It comes off as kind of naive and shy. No.
To pull something like this off, it takes a lot of thought, a lot of forethought, a lot of planning in order to do something like this. Because he's like, okay, what's the one guy that I can go to and I can talk to him? It's reported that he changed the location of the meeting with the Lakers so it would be closer for him and Paul George. And nobody saw that. Nobody got pictures. Nobody got a camera phone, a cell phone video of Kawhi and Paul George at some hotel or restaurant.
Quickly, to your point, Ramona Shelburne reported this on ESPN. That all of a sudden, spur of the moment, he calls Jeannie Buss and Rob Pelinka and says, hey, I don't want to come to El Segundo, where your headquarters are. I'd rather change the meeting. Could you drive out and meet me in Westlake Village? Do you know how far that's is out?
90 minutes, at least.
It's at least. I used to drive
With
from
traffic,
LAX
it's 3
out
hours.
I used to go to Thousand Oaks for the Cowboys, so I know this route.
Yes.
It's right by Westlake.
Yes.
Well, it's so far out there that not only does he make them drive out there to meet at a hotel because it's near to where Paul George has a house out by Calabasas.
Okay,
so he wanted to be in the vicinity where he could then run over to try to recruit Paul to talk him into making a stink with Oklahoma City. Let me out, or I'm gonna cause problems. I'm gonna do an Anthony Davis on you if you don't let me go.
Is Paul George gonna get that kind of criticism?
I don't know. He should.
Isn't that the same thing?
Yeah.
Now, he had a contract 3 years. Just
Same deal.
Remember, Skip, he got on stage last year. I'm here to stay.
Oh, did he? It was a big 4th of July bash.
Yeah, had a good old time. Russ threw this big old coming back to OKC for Paul George.
Yep.
Man, nobody saw this, Skip.
Okay, so just think about what number 2 did to Jeannie Buss, the owner of the Lakers, and to the GM, Rob Pelinka. They have to drive all the way out there and then get stuck. And I don't know the exact time frame, but if they had to come back in 5 o'clock traffic on the 405 back down to El Segundo, that's 2 hours. So they have to be steamed today.
Yes.
That they got bamboozled, right?
They got played.
And you want to talk, we talked about how LeBron pulled off a boss move by getting the AD out of New Orleans. This guy just outbossed the boss, right?
Yeah, he got the Lakers. He pulled a fast one on them.
He pulled a huge fast one. And then I kept saying last week, don't sleep on Jerry West because I've been around him too long in my career. Everywhere he's been, he has made minor miracles or miracles because I look
What the hell has he said in those meetings? How the hell he get Shaq? How the hell he convince Kevin Durant to go?
Do you understand? Like, look what he did for the Lakers. He drafted James Worthy. He drafted Derek Fisher. He drafted Kobe Bryant. It was a trade on draft night, but he got him. And then, I don't know, he talked Shaq into coming to L.A., right?
Yes.
Okay, and he traded for Robert Horry, which put them over the top again.
Got KD to come to Golden State.
He sure did. And remember, he was instrumental in the drafting of Clay and Draymond. Instrumental.
And he
pushing.
And remember, they were thinking about trading Kevin Love for Clay. And he said, hell no, don't do that.
Okay. And I'll remind you, he did have one stopover in Memphis where he was the executive of the year, and they made their first 3 playoff appearances under Jerry West.
Right.
How do you do that? This is genius at work. And when Steve Ballmer paid the price to get him out of Golden State to the Clippers, that's one of those magic moves.
It's the Lakers' fault because the Lakers should have gave him a lifetime title. They should have. Jerry, if he's the logo, he's good enough for the NBA to say when you watch the NBA games come on and the little logo that you see, is if it's good enough for the NBA, you mean to tell me he's not good enough to have a lifetime employment with the Lakers after all that he's done? He should have never left that organization. He should have never left. But Skip, for Kawhi to pull this off, boy, that Kawhi, hey, see, it's them quiet ones that get you every time.
It is the quiet ones.
You know, guy doing all the talking. Kawhi just sit back there.
So what did I tell you from the start about this guy? Cannot be trusted.
You can trust him, Skip.
Cannot be. You know you can't. You're done with that now. You got to be on the opposite side of the fence.
No, I can't. Look, he did the Lakers. He played them like donuts. He glazed them real good, too.
Yep. So I still question the principle and the character involved in quitting your way out of San Antonio and then duping the Lakers.
So what the hell about Paul George? Is Paul George going to escape criticism? Because he went to Sam Presti and says, I want out. And Sam Presti said, I do not want an Anthony Davis situation. I don't want a Melo. I don't want a Kyrie Irving situation. Let me make the best of a situation while I got to check. And then
I thought maybe Sam Presti would be the one guy who would dig in and say, I'm sorry, you got 3 years left and you're making really good money. And we got still the makings of a good enough team. And he didn't dig in part because the Clippers came to him, or he went to the Clippers, and the Clippers said, what do you want? What do you want? You can have everything. You can have our whole future.
They had to do this deal because it's also being reported that he brought to Toronto. Well, I'll give you Paul George because it basically Kawhi, it seems to me, Skip. Kawhi was going where Paul George was going, unless it was OKC. Then OKC said, "No, I want no parts of that."
Right.
But if you can get him in Toronto, I'll stay in Toronto. If you can get him to the Clippers, I'm going to the Clippers. Well, Masai Ujiri wasn't willing to mortgage 3 unprotected first-round picks.
Plus, they wanted Siakam and Van Vliet. And he just said no. And he also thought he was being duped because he thought he was being leveraged against the Clippers.
Yes, and he was right. But you know what I find funny also, Skip? And Paul George just had surgery on both shoulders.
He did.
He might not be able to go
To start
the season. Are we just going to pretend like Kawhi just going to play like 80 games?
Okay, now you're on the other side of the
No,
fence.
I'm just asking. I'm just asking.
Yeah.
I just think, because here's the
I'm
thing.
with you.
Because Paul George, if Paul George doesn't start the season,
I got you.
I don't know if you can have him load management 5 games, 10 games into the season.
Okay. So there's one last issue here, which I'm just going to touch on quickly because we're going to get to it in just a few minutes.
Your boy, huh?
Years. Because guess what?
What happened?
Back-to-back years, 2 guys who could have played with LeBron James, Paul George, and then number 2, they said no to LeBron James, and then they teamed up to play against LeBron in his building. That's the ultimate disrespect of the quote-unquote GOAT.
Well, I love that they did that, because guess what? We don't have to go to 2 different locales to kick their ass.
Oh.
They're right there. I'm glad they teamed up. But I'm going to say this.
Okay.
If I ask 30 general managers right now, I give you a choice. You can have Anthony Davis or you can have Paul George. Which one of those general managers you think taking Paul George over Anthony Davis? Because we got him. And I told you from day one, I would have loved to have Kawhi. And I'm a little disappointed that we didn't get Kawhi. But if I tell you you can have Anthony Davis, look at all the free agents. Kawhi, Kawhi, KD, and Kyrie. They're all free agents. And who else is available? KD, KD. How far is the list going down before?
Just for the record, Paul George made first team All-NBA and first team All-Defense and finished third in MVP voting. Just for the record.
And I guarantee you, the 30 general managers would take Anthony Davis over Paul George.
They probably would, and they'd probably be wrong.
And don't worry about it.
They often are.
Because guess what, Skip Bayless? That's a great couple. They look great. They look great together. 2-13, that's great. But you know what? At best case, it's a push. That's the best they can hope for. But I still believe the king and the bride are better of the 2 duos.
Look at that naive look, that childlike look on number 2's face. He looks like he wouldn't hurt a fly, right? And he is as devious a manipulator as you will ever run into.
That's the kind of guy right there looking at it and burn your house down.
Yeah.
And then help you put the fire.
Correct.
Are you going to start referring to him as number 2
he
as well?
I still love. Guess what?
You start calling him why, and I told you. Why?
But don't worry about it, Skip. We got something for him.
Okay.
I hope this is the Christmas Day matchup.
All right,
I hope this is the Christmas Day matchup.
It will be. It's got to be.
We got something for you, Kawhi. You're going to wish you never made this decision.
It's going to be fun to watch. Fireworks for sure. Earthquakes, bombshells, Kawhi, a 4-year, $141 million deal with the Clippers.
No mercy. No mercy.
Sure is funny what happens to your title odds when you add Kawhi Leonard and Paul George to your roster. The Clippers now have the best odds to win the NBA championship next season. The Lakers missed out on Kawhi, but they still have the 3rd best odds behind the Clippers and then the Bucks. LeBron's squad has added Anthony Davis, Boogie Cousins, and Danny Green, among others, this offseason. Shannon, I think I know your answer to this, but who do you think's the better team right now, the Lakers or the Clippers?
Lakers. I thought they did a great job scrambling, Skip, once they came to the realization that they were not going to get Kawhi Leonard. I thought they did a marvelous job to get KCP back, Quinn Cook. They got Rondo, Caruso. I just love what they did. I like Boogie. I think Boogie, another year of training, he'll be back. Because it's normally, Skip, not the first year after the surgery. It's the 2nd year that we see the guy, and I believe Boogie will get back. He's anxious to prove that he still can play at a very high level, and he's still an upper-tier big man. Anthony Davis, again, I will ask anybody, tell me the general manager that's going to take Paul George over Anthony Davis. He's a 25-12 career guy with 2.2 blocks. He's a great 2-way player also. And, of course, the king. Not to diminish Kawhi. Kawhi is special. He's the best 2-way player in the game. He's a top 2, top 3 player. But I'm not taking him over LeBron. So we got a better duo. I believe we're deeper now. I believe we are a better team. JaVale can rim run, can block shots. Now, we might not be the defensive team, because they tried out Pat Beverly. We know what he does on ball. Paul George, we know what he can do on ball, and he gave you 28 last year. And Kawhi, the best two-way player, can lock down basically 1 through 4 and can go get you 26. So defensively, they might be a little ahead of where we are. But from top to bottom, I'll take us. Anthony Davis had his best year with Rajon Rondo. LeBron James is on a mission. Everybody, LeBron. Now you watch. You're asking for choice. See, you wanted it. They want everybody. The NBA wanted these problems. Well, I like it. It's parity now. You're not gonna like these problems that we're gonna cause. We about to get an NBA 100 headaches.
So you still got the super team, right?
Yeah. We ain't going nowhere. We still got the best duo. Paul George and Kawhi. If you like Kimba, Jason Tatum, whomever you like, I don't care. You like Jimmy Butler and Dragic, you like Dame Lillard and CJ, you like Jokic, I don't care. We got the best two players going.
So you got the big three now. You got LeBron and AD and Danny Green.
I ain't even, hold on, whoa. Did I mention Kuz? Did I mention the guy that got you that? Kuz.
He's going to be your sixth man, right?
Whatever role we need him to fill in, he's going to fill it in.
I give you, Rob Pelinka scrambled nicely. I'm not going to say marvelously, but nicely. He did the best he could do under the circumstances that he got stealth bombed into by number 2 on Friday night, because I'm sure that would just shell shock for them.
Yes.
And it was like, oh my God, now what? And they must have had a long sleepless night Friday night into Saturday morning because they had to scramble like mad. And again, I wanted my Spurs to go get DeMarcus Cousins. I don't love him on defense because he doesn't play a lot of defense. And I'm assuming that Pop said, I just can't do that. And my Spurs rallied nicely too with Marcus Morris and DeMarre Carroll, so I'm good with that.
Y'all played a premium penny for those guys too now.
Well, okay, we did, but we might be the deepest team in the West right now. I can't do top heavy, but I can do bottom heavy all the way through middle heavy.
Yeah.
Okay, so what happened when the stealth bomb dropped on Friday night, to your point, parity just echoed across the West. The door swung wide open for the first time since the Golden State dynasty began, right?
Yes.
So now you can make cases for a lot of teams, but I will give you Lakers, Clippers, a little bit at the top, just slightly better than a Utah team that I am not sleeping on right now, just slightly better. And now if you make me choose between those two, I'm going to give the Clippers a very slight edge because of defense and killer closer. They have Lou Williams and you don't. And I will be the first to say I did not love the way Lou Williams closed the season for them because he had chances in game 4 and 6 in his house, which is Staples, against Golden State in round 1 when they had them on the ropes and he came up smaller than he is in the fourth quarters or in the whole game of game 6 when he shot 3 for 21. I did not love that. But he is still a clutch killer closer that I don't think the Lakers have. That's just me, but I don't completely trust LeBron or AD or whoever. Maybe Kuzma turns into that guy. He's got a chance. But so far, I don't see that. And on defense, you don't have only one best two-way player in basketball. You got the 2 best two-way players in basketball because I can right now make a case Paul George is a little better two-way player than number 2 is. Because, again, he had 2 banged-up shoulders and he didn't shoot it that well in the playoffs, but he led this league in steals this year. He was first-team all-defense.
Andrew had a career-high 8 rebounds.
8 rebounds? Are you kidding me? And he had a career-high in points scored, and a career-high in assists, and a career-high in PER, and win shares, and all that. He had a fantastic year, and we're about to talk about Russell Westbrook and what that did to him. But the point is that just on defense, if you throw Patrick Beverly in between those two, he is a defensive player of the year candidate, and he is simply the best point guarder. Yeah, you can't get a better one than him.
Nope.
You can't get a tougher one. He is just tenacious. He's a pit bull of a defender. So when those 3 are across the line, when you're trying to bring the ball up, you're going to have a hard time.
Yeah.
But I don't, to your point, how many games will number 2 play? I have no idea.
I mean,
Did he negotiate in 41 out of 82?
Well,
I don't know. Maybe.
What he negotiated in is that when I don't feel well, I'm going to take it off.
I'm out.
The back-to-backs are probably out. Skip, look, and you make concessions. When you want something, he's like, okay, I want my medical staff. I want 3 guys here and I want 4 guys there. Steve Ballmer's worth about $41 billion. No problem. Look, Doc, I'm not. There'll be days I'm not going to walk through practice. I'm not doing that. Some back-to-backs, I'm not doing that. You make those concessions. Skip, not to get too far off track. Can you imagine? Indiana drafted both of these guys, Paul George and Kawhi.
Well, they could have.
Can you imagine what they've been?
And they have been quoted as the insiders have been quoted as saying that once they knew they had agreed to the trade with the Spurs, once it looked like number 2 was still sitting there going toward 15, they thought about rescinding the trade. Yeah, you could have had them both then. Clippers got them both now.
Again, though, Skip, Kawhi has a history, and we're going to see how many games he played. He played, 60 games last year. Will he play that number this year? Paul George has had shoulder surgery on both shoulders. Now, there's a lot of speculation that he might not start the season. Okay, so what does that do for Kawhi? But all said and done, Skip, give me Bron, give me AD, and give me that roster. Yeah, they're a little older, but Danny Green was second in three-point shooting. That's what he was. He was second in all of the NBA. And he's not the defensive guy that he once was, but he'll still play very good defense. Anthony Davis is no slouch.
Nope, he's no slouch.
KCP is not the lockdown, but he can knock down shots, and he plays a little D. And that's what you need. You need guys that can space the floor because LeBron and AD going to do their work. And then if we can get a 85% Boogie, good night, Irene.
How did it work out when Boogie played with AD, old friends that they are from Kentucky roots and back to that program? What happened when they played together?
They had some big games.
Here and there.
Yeah.
The Twin Towers.
Twin Towers.
But you know what?
But
here's the thing. The question is that they're going to have to figure out, is it better to go JaVale, AD, and then bring Boogie off the bench, or do you start Boogie at the 5 and the AD? So that's a great problem to have. You got a guy that's a career 21 and 10 guy. A guy the last 6 years, he was like 25 and 12. How do you play this out? But that's a great problem to have. What do you do with Kuzma? Do you start LeBron at the point and go Danny Green, Kuzma, AD, JaVale, Boogie? Or do you bring Boogie off the bench and go LeBron, Rondo, Danny Green, JaVale, AD? Great problem to have.
The other problem you have is LeBron James is entering his 17th NBA season.
No problem
and he's
whatsoever.
got high mileage, and he suffered his first significant injury last year, and it really cost him the whole back. It really, from December 25th on, he was never LeBron James.
Okay.
Right?
I'll give you that, yes.
All right. So does he bounce back? You think he could have a bounce back, almost an MVP candidate?
That's what I'm calling.
And in fact, now that you don't have number 2 in the way, does that open the door for him to be the MVP?
Yeah.
Okay. You predicting
he's going to be a favorite. Oh, yeah, he's going to be a favorite.
He's the favorite?
I said he's going to be, he one of the guys. Oh, absolutely.
One of the guys.
Yeah, he one of the guys.
Would you
Top
predict
guys.
right now that he would win it?
It's going to be hard for him. I can see if they get to 50, I said 56 games, you and I got a couple of cases to do on that. We get to 56, we got that thing in the bag.
Yeah?
Yeah,
What, do we bet like 20 cases that they're going to win the championship next year?
Yep. I said if we got Kawhi.
Oh, that was an if?
Yeah, we got Kawhi.
I don't remember an if on that one.
Yeah,
There was an asterisk.
Yeah, we got Kawhi.
I thought that was made just with AD. I don't remember.
But we don't have Kawhi, Skip.
Okay.
But I love what we got.
Yeah, okay.
Sometimes you got to be satisfied with what you have, Skip Bayless.
Okay, and yet back to the Clippers and their defense, they even have an ex-Laker, Big Zoo, that you love. Big Zubots
I did love.
that they stole at the trade deadline for Mike Muscala, right? Is that going to go down in history as one of those?
What the hell is Mike Muscala now?
I don't know. I have no idea. He's not a Laker anymore. So Big Zoo, they just gave him a lot of money. I think they gave
4
him
years,
like
$28 million.
Yeah, 28. So $7 million a year, right?
But I told you he was a free agent. I thought we was going to get it back.
Well, he was restricted. So they had the first shot, and he took it, so they're good to go. So he's going to be their rim protector and their postman if they need. In the playoffs, see, they didn't need it. They didn't play him much against Golden State.
Yeah, it's hard.
Golden State
because they got Draymond. He didn't, that's not a good matchup for him.
So do you have maybe a little more depth than the Clippers do? Maybe just a little bit. They got Shamet, obviously. They still got Mo Harkless coming off the bench with, obviously, Lou and Montrezl.
I think they signed JaMychal Green.
I
think so, too. Yeah, I think they will.
So the point is that everybody now has a chance. And I look at the playoff teams from last year, and only one of them just fell off the map, and that's the Thunder.
Yep.
That's the only one. And again, I made a case that your Pelicans might have a shot at the 8th seed. Now it's going to be really difficult because Utah is right there with the Clippers and Lakers.
Right.
And when you have Donovan Mitchell, I do think you have a killer clutch closer.
Yeah.
And he's only going to get nothing but better with Mike Conley, where he doesn't have to handle it so much.
It's going to be tough for the Pelicans, Skip, because Houston, even though with all their bickering, they're still a 50-plus win team.
And listen, don't write off
Portland.
Golden State. Don't write them off. Once Clay comes back full tilt, which I think it'll be in March, maybe for the playoffs, then they're going to be a factor. Denver is just, they're just going to get more experience. And Jamal Murray is a closer. I think he's clutch as anybody. And then Portland's still going to be Portland. They're going to win a lot of regular season games, not postseason.
They're not poor.
And then again, I still like my Spurs with DeJounte Murray coming back at point guard. I still think they're going to be a factor and could be a contender in this group with this more wide open. So that one stealth bomb that dropped Friday night opened the West up for come one, come all.
No, actually didn't. Actually didn't.
No.
It only gave a lot of people false hope.
Really?
Yep.
It's like you had all last week.
Yeah. They gave me false hope. You know what I'm saying, Skip?
Yeah.
It's like my grandma got that bonus. I actually thought I was going to get something better for Christmas, no, I wasn't. That was to go pay bills.
Okay.
Yeah, so the lights would be, so the Christmas tree lights would be on. It wasn't going to get me any more toys. Right. So all that did, it shifted. Oh, so now the Clippers are a viable championship caliber team. But the rest, they just pretending, Skip. They just pretending. Yeah, they playing dress up. They playing dress up. They got on heels and lipstick and a wig, but they're not going nowhere.
Really?
No.
Okay.
Excellent points, gentlemen. A lot of analysts making cases for 8 to 10 teams, which makes it fun. It's going to be an interesting season to watch. All right, speaking of interesting, how about this one, guys? Russell Westbrook now wants out of OKC, according to Woj. This news comes on the heels of Paul George demanding the trade from the Thunder to join Kawhi with the Clippers. George is the second superstar to leave Westbrook in the last few years. KD, of course, signed with Golden State back in 2016. By the way, the Thunder have lost in the first round of the playoffs for 3 straight years. So, Shannon, what does all of this say about Russ?
It's hard for you to look at it and say this is not an indictment on Russ, Skip.
Yep.
Guys are leaving saying I have a better chance to win elsewhere than with you. Here's a guy that's averaged a triple-double for 3 straight years. He's an MVP of the league. He plays hard. He doesn't cheat you on any night. You know you're going to get 1,000% effort from Russ. But KD says, bro, I was here 8 years, 9 years, and I can't win with you. Paul George was there for a year and a half and said, bro, I love you. You're a great guy, but I can't win. I don't know how you look at it any other way. Russell Westbrook wants to get traded for one simple reason. He found out that Sam Presti put him in a deal that would have shipped Paul George and him to Toronto. He says when James Harden wanted out, I stayed. When Kevin Durant walked out and you didn't get jack for him, I stayed.
He did.
So you just told me what you really think of me. And everybody gets upset when players want to go pair up or players want to leave. Well, teams are always looking. I'm going to do what's in the best interest of the team. Well, Russ says, you know what? I'm going to do what's in the best interest. I need to get up out of here because I don't trust you anymore, Sam. I trusted you. You gave me your word that you was going to do everything you can to put the pieces around me. You made the trade for Paul George. Well, first you made the trade for Victor Oladipo. And then you made the trade for Paul George, and I gave you everything. But come to find out, you look at me just like the other guy, all these other guys. I thought I was being beyond reproach. After what I've given you the last 3 years and the loyalty that I've showed you from the day I walked in, he got to go, Skip. He's never going to be happy again. He's never going to trust. He's going to say all the right things publicly. And he might even take out a full-page ad. What is it, the Oklahoman? Or what's your newspaper? It'll never be the same between Sam Presti and Russell Westbrook. But it's hard for me to look at this any other way than in an indictment that the great players are saying, I can't win with you.
And I agree with you. I was as shocked by the fact that Paul George opted to leave Russ as I was by Paul George opting to play with number 2 with the Clippers. Because he was going home. He's from Palmdale. It's 30, 40 miles north of L.A. Obviously, number 2's from Riverside. He's born in Compton, but went to high school in Riverside, grew up in Riverside, which is a ways out to the east of here. but still, they're Southern California kids. So I get that part of it. I get the home tug on the heart. But I really believed, after I saw that video 1 year ago of that big 4th of July bash thrown by Russell Westbrook at Lake Hawassi, just outside of Oklahoma City, in which Paul George limoed up and got out and made the big announcement, I'm here with my man. I thought that Russell had, till death do them part, found his co-star, who gladly deferred to Russ and did the dirty work for Russ, which was all the defensive work. He led the league in steals. I think he led in deflections also.
He did.
And he had a hellacious year. He had his best year. Paul George did everything. Most points, 28 a game. Most rebounds, as you point out, 8. Most assists in his career, 4. 2.2 steals. PER career high. Win shares career high. 39% from 3. He made the most threes and attempted the most threes in his career, so it wasn't like he was getting shortchanged on the shots. He took the most field goal attempts in his career and made the most, so he was getting shots. He was playing at an extremely high level on defense, and guess what? They won one playoff game. One. And I think he sat back and went Kevin Durant and decided, you know what? I just don't know if I'm ever going to be able to win a playoff series, or let alone a championship with that guy as the principal primary decision maker.
You're absolutely right. And I believe two things can always be true. I believe that Kevin Durant and Paul George really, really like Russell as a person.
I agree.
But I believe they came to the realization, I might like you as a person, but as a ball player, I do not believe with the style of play that you exhibit, I don't believe I can win a championship like that. That's what they said. The man just signed a 4-year contract last year. And 1 year into that contract, he goes and tells Sam Presti, trade me to the Clippers. Get whatever you can, and I don't want, hey, we're going to keep this hush. We're not going to make a stink about it, but I want out.
Yeah.
How does Russ look at it any other way?
So if I'm Jerry West on Tuesday in my first meeting with number 2, and he says, you got to go get me a co-star, how about Paul George? If I'm Jerry West, I'm saying, I can't.
He just signed.
He's Russ's guy, right? Number 2 says, let me work on that.
Right.
Let me see if I can open that door for you. And he
got that flip phone. He got that flip phone out. You know, Kawhi got a flip phone. Flipped it out. And
Bing, 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 bing. Yep. Can you text off a flip phone? I guess you still can.
I guess. I don't know.
Takes a long time.
You have to do that. You have to do it.
I mean, think about that, Skip.
Yeah.
And so Russ went to bed. And I guess he was in bed. He might be on vacation. But he's thinking, okay, me and Paul George, blah, 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 we got this.
Yep.
And then it wakes up. And not only did Paul George get traded, you find out that they tried to trade you.
True. After the fact. The next day. Okay, so
Kyrie was the same situation.
Yeah.
Remember when Kyrie found out they tried to trade him? Kyrie says, okay, you wanted to, go ahead and do it.
That is true. So, bottom line on Russell Westbrook, I always tell you, I love to watch him.
I do.
In fact, I love to watch him as much as I love to watch anybody play in this league. But I wouldn't want to play with him. And I love how hard he plays, but I'm still convinced, and you've made this point back to me, he's playing for his brand and his stats more than for winning, because I think he's a little more interested in starring than winning. He wants to be the MVP.
Right.
He wants to triple-double every year, to average the triple-double.
Right.
And he just keeps pulling it off to his glory at the expense of team glory. Not that I'm not saying he doesn't want to win. He just wants to star a little bit more than he wants to win.
Yes.
And when you're the point guard and that is your basic bottom line psyche mentality, you're going to have a hard time. It's going to be hard to win with him or play with him.
Yes.
Right?
I just believe, Skip, there's a difference between playing hard and playing smart. I believe he plays smart, plays hard 1,000% of the time. I don't believe he always plays smart. You don't come down and jack up shots if you got a 3-4 point lead and you're jacking up shots with 18 seconds on the shot clock. And he will do that. I mean, I just feel, and it's hard for me to look at it, and I'm sure he's looking at it the same way.
Yep.
I've had 2 guys in the last 4 years, top players, says, you know what? I got a better chance to win over there than right here.
That is true. So my second biggest laugh out loud of the weekend was number one. Of course, it was number two to the Clippers. But my second one was when I heard that Daryl Morey is interested in acquiring Russell Westbrook.
To do what?
I'm thinking, what? Because I'm going to point out the last 2 years, James Harden has led the league in usage rate.
Right.
And second, the last 2 years has been Russell Westbrook.
Right.
And if you go back 3 years, they've been 1-2, 2-1
Right.
in usage rate. So there's one basketball in Houston, unless they have a new rule and they get to play with two.
Right.
But could you do that? Could you play with two, let them both have a ball?
They need 3.
Okay, they need 3. Okay.
Because nobody else is touching the ball.
So who, people would, if you're just going for straight box office, just marquee value, TV ratings, yeah, I would tune in to watch Russ try to play with Harden. And obviously they were young teammates together and they've been on the floor together. But that was when James was the 6th or 7th man for Oklahoma
And
City.
he didn't know he had this in him.
No, he didn't.
He didn't finish run-up in the MVP 3 of the 4 last years. He didn't win the MVP.
No, and he was just a shooting guard.
Right.
That's all he did, and Russ was the obvious point guard. So
Skip, they got something working against them. This albatross, 4 years, $171 million.
I just don't know how anybody would absorb that. Maybe Pat Riley would, just because they need another star.
Well, yeah, I mean, see, the difference is the Thunder have 2 guys with albatross contracts, he and Steven Adams. The Heat got like 5 or 6 guys. They got Dragic, they got Olynyk, they got a bunch of guys. So you got to match it up dollar for dollar.
Justice Winslow.
Yeah. Skip, Russell's going to be 34 with a player option for $47 million. I mean, we talk about bad contracts. We think John Wall, I think John Wall still has the worst contract. But now we're getting in, okay, if we swap it out, which is the worst contract, Russ or CP3? Because one guy got a contract for 4 years at 160. And this guy got 4 years at 171. But we wondered how Chris Paul and James Harden were going to play together. Look here, you need a MIT professor to figure out how these 2 guys could play together. James Harden and Russell Westbrook.
Yep. Which is why, in the end, I think Russ is going to wind up in a middle tier or lower tier sort of team.
Detroit?
You got Detroit, you got Orlando, maybe Minnesota. Where
he gonna sell tickets though.
Okay, that's why you would acquire him. You'd do whatever it took to get him out of Oklahoma City to you, but you would have no designs on winning big.
Well, Sam Presti, you do a great job of drafting. You don't know how to keep them because you look at what you let go. You got 3 MVPs that you let go. James Harden, KD, Russ, Serge Ibaka won a title.
He did.
And for what? What is he going to skip after all that talent when it's all said and done? What is he going to have to show for?
Good point. Now
Russell,
you are starting over.
Yep.
Russell Westbrook's agent working overtime, Thad Fauché. By the way, Anthony Davis's old agent before he signed with Clutch.
Clutch.
Hey, come on, Russ. Come on, Russ, come to Clutch. You can't come to Lakers, but I'm saying come on over to Clutch.
No mercy.
Congratulations to the U.S. women's national team. They defeated the Netherlands yesterday to win their 2nd straight Women's World Cup and 4th cup overall. Megan Rapinoe won the Golden Ball as the top player and the Golden Boot as the top scorer in the tournament. After the match, U.S. coach Jill Ellis said, quote, "They made history." Talk about girl power. Awesome job, ladies. Skip,
Yes,
how
it was.
impressive was this American team to you?
Going into this World Cup, the prevailing question was, has the rest of the world caught up to the U.S. women? Has France caught up? Has England caught up? And the resounding answer was no! Because this team was clearly the best in all the matches that I watched.
Yep.
And they stood up to incredible pressure to prove once again yesterday they were the best.
And that's what makes it so unbelievable what they did, is because they were the overwhelming favorites. And to do it in the fashion in which they never trail. Megan Rapinoe was unbelievable, but Skip, in the first half, that Dutch goalie, that score really should have been. It should have been over in the first half. But she was standing on her head. She was standing on her head, and you know what? I was like, yeah, we got this one. Once we got that first goal, Skip, I said, the dam about to crack.
Really?
And then here come the water. And then like a couple of minutes later, left-footed kick into the net, and we celebrated.
That was it?
Yeah. Megan Rapinoe faked out, though, because the 2 penalty kicks the other day, she went lower left. And the Dutch goalie thought she was going to go lower left again. She like, I go to the right.
Well, at least you had that to root for this weekend.
I got a lot to root for. There's a lot of positives going on in my life.
Man, it's tough when you have a target on your back. Whether the U.S. women or Shannon after this weekend. All right, let's get back to the NBA. Kawhi Leonard became the latest superstar who chose not to join LeBron. Remember last year, Paul George looked like he was coming to the Lakers, but then, he spurned them as well. Sean Powell of NBA.com wrote this: "The player left scratching his head today is LeBron. Yes, LeBron did at least get Davis, but Davis was already part of LeBron's inner circle as a client of Clutch Sports." And so to summarize, LeBron never managed to get free agents to Cleveland unless you count his aging pal Dwayne Wade. And the same now goes for the Lakers. Tough criticism. Shannon, guy. What do you think all this says about LeBron?
I think this is unfair about LeBron because here's the thing. He's in an unwinnable situation. If LeBron tries to recruit, he's weak for trying to recruit the great players. If he doesn't get anyone, no one wants to play with him. So how does he win? Hold on, with Kevin, so...
I guess he's in a lose-lose situation.
He really is, Skip, because guess what happened? He got a Kevin Love to come to Cleveland. He got Kevin Love to do the exact same thing that Paul George did.
You have little to no respect for Kevin Love.
That's neither here nor there, but hold on. Was Kevin Love was an all-NBA player, Skip. He was 26 and 14.
Yeah, and he'd missed the playoffs all 6 years in Minnesota. Go ahead.
That was the case. But was he not a great player, though, Skip?
I wouldn't go great. He's a very good player.
He was a very good player.
Yeah.
He was a very, very good player. And LeBron got him to come to Cleveland. LeBron helped build those teams in Miami. Ray Allen came. So why do you think Ray Allen came down there? He came down there for what? Shane Battier. Why did he come down there? Why did D. Wade and Chris Bosh want to pair together? Was that because if LeBron was a bum, would D. Wade and Chris Bosh wanted to pair up in Miami? No. It's just... It just seems to me that whenever LeBron does something, now he's doing the exact same thing. So is Kawhi weak for recruiting Paul George? No, it was great. It was LeBron went to LA with nobody. He didn't recruit anybody. Says, I'm gonna trust Magic. Magic's gonna get it done. Kawhi goes out and recruits Paul George, and everybody's talking about, boy, look at the great job he did. Nobody's saying Kawhi is weak for recruiting. Only LeBron James get labeled as weak for recruiting players. And when things don't go out, he can't get anybody. So how does he win, Skip? He can't.
He needs help. He just needs a lot of help.
So what does Kawhi need? Why didn't Kawhi go to the Clippers by himself? If Kawhi's that dog, everybody say he's the best player. He's the new face of the NBA.
I never said he was that dog.
Okay, but you're hearing that too.
All right.
You're hearing that. You give you credit. You've been on the island. Kawhi's persona non grata to you. But everybody said Kawhi's that dog. Kawhi swings the balance of power. Why didn't the hell he take his ass to the Clippers by himself? Oh, but nobody will say a word about Kawhi Leonard recruiting. But let LeBron James. All Kawhi Leonard did was the exact same thing LeBron James did. He wanted Anthony Davis. Now, this could have been handled a lot better because Dale Demps could have did what David Griffin did. The same pieces was on the table.
Right.
And Dale Demps said no. Griffin comes in, boom, makes the deal. What's the difference? Paul George went to Sam Presti and says, I want out. Get what you can, they make the deal happen. Paul George is not criticized. Anthony Davis was. Kawhi Leonard is not criticized. LeBron James is. I just don't get it. I just believe he's in an unwinnable situation no matter what he does. But I can promise you one thing. The old LeBron James I know ain't scratching his head. And he got a head full of hair to scratch too.
He does?
Do the hair like this.
Here and there.
Ain't no here and there. He got a head full of hair.
I think it's here and there.
No, it's not.
It might have some help here and there. I would let you off the hook for this if you didn't repeatedly attempt the blasphemy that is your position that LeBron James is the GOAT. If you just told me he was the second best player ever, I would let you off this hook. But you continue to tell me he's better than that guy up in Chicago.
Yeah.
And that guy, Michael Jordan, didn't want to recruit anybody. You said, well, they drafted Scottie Pippen. Okay, so they drafted somebody for him, but he never recruited anybody. But if he had, trust me on this, whoever shoulder he had tapped, they would run to Chicago to play with him.
Tapped on Rodman's shoulder.
Okay, well, kind of he did, kind of a little bit, but there are a lot of shoulders he wanted to tap that Jerry Krause said no to, because we know Michael has a hard time picking players, right? Because we've seen
that now.
Okay, right? And I remember once upon a time he wanted Al Wood. I used to call him Balsa Wood because he, hit and miss, but again, he wanted all of his North Carolina cronies in Chicago, and a lot of times Jerry Krause, to his credit, said, no, that won't work for us. But the point was, it wasn't the same era. It wasn't rampant recruiting of co-stars.
And free agency didn't move. Free agency was nothing like this.
Okay, so now we're in a new era. But if Michael had played in this era and he had decided to play the game the way everybody else is playing the game, to compete against the super teams that were joining forces all around him, whoever he said, you, and you, they would come to him.
We don't know that for certain, Skip. It's easy to speculate that.
Well, who wouldn't want to play with him?
Well, how did it work out?
God.
Well, Kobe is the closest thing to Michael Jordan. How many guys did Kobe tap on their shoulder and came to the Lakers? Name one guy that Kobe got in free agency in 20 years.
Kobe was difficult to play with. I don't think Michael was difficult to play with at all. He was the ultimate leader.
The man punching people in the face, Skip.
Okay, but that worked.
What you mean
It worked. He motivated by fear. You don't play for me, I'll punch you in the jaw. Huh?
Man, Skip, baby, you ought to be ashamed of yourself. You jumped in Will Purdue's face. He was just swinging on everybody. And you talking about he's easy to play with.
Did you ever, Will Purdue from Vanderbilt, by the way?
Yeah, swung on him.
Yeah, he did. Little Stevie Kerr. But the point is, did you ever hear one of those ex-teammates say, I hated playing with Michael Jordan? I've never heard a peep of that.
Well, nobody said they hated playing with Bron.
It's just like with Tom Brady. I've never heard one ex-teammate say, I hated him, or he was a phony, or he was disingenuous, or whatever. Right. Some of the stuff that you say that he is.
The book coming out, but don't worry about it.
Okay, all right. There's a book coming out that says shoe. Okay, so here we have, we actually started with Kyrie saying, I just can't take the drama anymore. I want out of here.
Right.
For whatever reason, he just said, I can't take the drama king's drama. I'm worn out from it. And then we had Paul George. We had Magic. Remember going on Jimmy Kimmel doing the wink wink that he got in trouble for when he asked about Paul George because he thought it was a done deal.
Well, it might be a bigger indictment on Magic. Because who did Magic talk to Kyrie? He talked to Paul George and he talked to Kawhi, and both of them left. So it might be a bigger indictment on Magic Johnson because
I will give you some of that.
Because you said LeBron was coming here regardless, and he just wanted to say hello to Magic Johnson.
LeBron knocked on Magic's door. It really wasn't vice versa.
Yeah.
It was like Peyton going to Denver. It's just like, I'm just going to do this, whether you like it or not, right?
Yep.
Okay, so we had Kyrie first, and then we had Paul George just say, I'm from there, but I just can't take the drama. I don't want to try to share the stage because it's high pressure. It's hot spotlights. Right. It's hard, man. Right. It's hard to be the second to LeBron.
Well, plus it's also hard, Skip, when you go there, when you play with LeBron, you know what the expectations are. And Paul George is about to realize that because now the expectations is championships. Paul George never played with the expectations of championship. I don't care what anybody tells you. Nobody thought that the OKC Thunder were serious title contenders with Paul George, Steven Adams, and Russ. Nobody thought that. And everybody keeps talking about this toxicity, but you think about it. Kyrie says, I didn't want to play in this environment, and he went and recreated the very thing that he left in Cleveland. He recreated that. Look at KD. KD's situation, KG's got to find out what's going to make him happy inside, and then we can move on from there. But that's not about playing with somebody. But Skip, LeBron says, okay, everybody, I hear all these old guys, LeBron's out there recruiting. LeBron is doing this. Okay, how much help does he need? He wants all the good players. He weak. I would have never done that. Larry Bird had never done that. Magic would have never done that. Okay, now he doesn't get them. Nobody wants to play with it. What that dang? So how does he win? Just tell us, how does he win?
To your first point, Magic obviously was a much better player, not much better, but a better player than Jerry West was.
Yes.
But listen, Jerry West, as a GM,
I want to know what he telling
team builder.
What he telling him, Skip?
Whoa.
He telling him something.
Yeah.
He ain't telling me, come on now.
Hey, I want Jerry West recruiting for my team as opposed to Magic recruiting for the Lakers.
And Steve Ballmer already done told him he going to hook him up. When you got $41 billion, Skip, you got tentacles that you can convince players to do things that other owners can't.
I'm going to give you this much. What have I called Paul George? I've called him George Paul because in Indiana, when he wanted to be the man, he turned into George Paul, right?
Right.
He was not a guy you could trust in the clutch. And I thought he needed to be a nice number 2 to somebody, and now he's the number 2 to literally number 2.
Well, I thought Russ did a great job of conceding some of it to him. Russ still took some ill-advised shots, but I still believe that Paul George, he conceded a lot because Russ was not, I mean, it dropped from 32 to 28. Now he was down to like a little over 20 points a game, Skip. So he took fewer shots, and he conceded some of the offense and power to Paul George.
And I'm also going to give you this. Number 2 was playing in the shadows in Toronto because nobody saw that coming. Nobody expected it. Nobody predicted it. And they kind of just crept up on the NBA, on the Eastern Conference playoffs. And then he makes the luckiest shot in the history of the playoffs. And all of a sudden, wait a second, they've advanced to Milwaukee. And then Giannis just gets exposed. And all of a sudden, wait a second, they're in the NBA Finals. And then Klay pulls his hamstring, and then KD ruptures, and Klay wrecks his knee. Wait a second. Toronto just won the NBA championship? So I'm going to give you this. He wanted no part of LeBron's shadow because he casts a long shadow, and it is tough. And that guy, number 2, has never been built to be in the spotlight. He was so lucky, so blessed to get drafted by the Spurs because he had Duncan, Parker, and Ginobili, and he could learn in their shadow, right?
Yeah, well, he's about to find out, Skip, what expectations are due.
All right.
Because now the expectations is what? That's a title-contending team, the Clippers.
Okay, but they're clearly the stepchild in L.A.
Oh, it will be.
Okay, so they share a building with the team, and every jersey up in the rafters belongs to the Lakers.
Exactly.
And every statue outside the Staples Center is a Laker.
Right.
There's nothing. The Clippers have nothing. So I don't know that the expectations are through the Staples.
They're the favored.
Well,
they're the favorite to win the title.
Yeah, okay.
So
I'm good with that if you want.
So that should tell them something, Skip. You can't say you own the home if you live in somebody's home and you paying rent. They own it. You just a tenant.
Well,
and don't you forget that, Clippers.
I think they're going to try to buy Staples.
They ain't try to buy nothing. It ain't for sale.
Okay.
I don't care how much money you got, Steve Ballmer. Build your own.
Fighting words. I do have to point out.
They should build their own arena. They just should.
Good luck with that.
Okay.
Build it out there in wherever they play, wherever the marina. They practice in the marina.
Okay.
Playa Vista.
Build it out on the ocean.
Vista. You can build it wherever you want to. You got money.
One thing that was different about the AD trade request, that was public, whereas Paul George worked it out behind the scenes.
Well, we tried to work it out behind the scenes. Dale Dibbs leaked that. Dale Dibbs bumping his gums. Now where is he, Skip?
Where is he now? I don't know.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know that one either, actually.
No mercy.
Tomorrow on Fox, the biggest stars in baseball shine bright in Cleveland. Don't miss the MLB All-Star Game tomorrow night, 7:30 Eastern, only on Fox. Kawhi Leonard is indeed coming to LA. No, not the Lakers, but to the Clippers on a 4-year max deal. Friday night, the Clippers also made a huge power play with a trade to acquire Paul George. The Clips surrendered up a ton of assets, though, including 5 first-round picks. But they did get 2 superstars in the process. We are joined by FS1 NBA analyst Chris Broussard. Chris, good morning. Thank you for being here. This was such a subject of speculation last week. Were you surprised by the Kawhi decision to the Clippers?
Well, one of my favorite rappers of all time, KRS-One, once said, you know what he said, real bad boys move in silence. And I can't think of a better phrase.
To that too.
Right? Yeah. I can't think of a better phrase to characterize Kawhi Leonard. He had the whole NBA stumped, including me, right? He had, I mean, you heard.
But everybody was wrong.
It was either all Lakers, he's there, all Toronto, he's there. Nobody was saying Clippers. And I'm told even as of Friday afternoon, Doc Rivers himself thought Kawhi was headed to the Lakers because he didn't think they'd be able to get it done. Now, I talked last week about LeBron being a boss, and he is, but this was the biggest boss move I've seen of a player in my 25 years of covering the NBA. Like, who would have thought he could get another player, Paul George, with 3 years left on his deal, a deal you just signed last year. You spurned LeBron James last year and the Lakers to sign in OKC, and he comes and tells you demand a trade or gets you to demand a trade to the Clippers. Like, unbelievable. Props to Kawhi. I mean, the NBA, I wouldn't be surprised if some executives try to say, look, you got to start enforcing some tampering rules because this
there
was
is
the
one
utmost
more rule.
Right? Well, there's technically it's still there. They never enforce it with players, and I get it. It's almost impossible to enforce.
But the Clippers can argue that was all about number 2 dealing straight on with Paul
guess
George.
so.
Right.
I guess so.
And then he wasn't under the Clippers umbrella. He was a free agent, so he don't belong to anybody.
Yeah, I mean, and look, I guess so, but obviously it was a power move by Kawhi, and I got to give him all the credit in the world. Now, once you see that they get Paul George, it's no surprise because the only reason the Clippers were out essentially was they didn't have a second star. Kawhi did not want to have to carry the load with his health like he did last year in Toronto again. And the Lakers obviously saw that problem. He wanted 3 things. He wanted Southern California, he wanted a second star, and he didn't want to take a back seat. And even though LeBron was saying all the right things, and I think Kawhi thought he meant it, there's a risk. If the 3 of you come together with Anthony Davis and LeBron, that somebody's going to take a back seat. Your instincts a lot of times kick in. So LeBron's instinct is to become the system. And maybe, you know what I mean? Maybe you kind of, so with this, he doesn't have to take a back seat. I don't think it was about who's a better player because he tried to get Kevin Durant. So he was, he just wanted another star. There's really no risk of taking a back seat when it's 2 of you. And so obviously it was a shocking move. Oklahoma City really went along with it quickly. I think that's part of, if you're OKC or any other team, would you rather Kawhi with the Lakers, with LeBron and AD, or with the Clippers? You rather him with the Clippers.
Right.
Even though OKC's not in any position to compete soon, you still don't want to create that, what the Lakers were doing. So I think that's, Kawhi was, I'm told even some people, I got to believe Uncle Dennis knew. But after that, people close to him in his camp didn't even know how hard he was working.
So he stealth bombed his own camp.
That dude is, because he's quiet, people underestimate.
That's what I told Skip. Hey, them the ones you got to be watching out for. It's the quiet ones. If you watch, I watch all these murder mysteries and the guys that be burning out Thanksgiving. He was so quiet. He never called. He was just a normal guy. And he burned your house down and helping you put the fire out. I'm shocked. The only reason I said the Clippers were not in play, they didn't have a second guy.
Right.
The Lakers had 2 guys, and then you see Jimmy Butler come off the board. You see Kyrie and KD pair up together. And he can't get Giannis. Giannis just signed. I'm looking at...
You would have felt the same way about George. You're right.
Right.
All the second stars were off the board.
Paul George really never came up for the very reason that you just mentioned. He just signed a 4-year deal last year, so he got 3 years left. Okay, so he's stuck. He says he doesn't want to shoulder all the load, unless you know what he thought about the load in Toronto. He's like, this one, I'm getting hurt because I'm shouldering all the load in Toronto. This was, I don't know if you was here and you felt the earthquake, but I happened to be right smack dab in the middle, and I felt that 7-0. But when this guy swung that hammer and it struck the earth, that was about a 10. Because, boy, the ripple effects. Because I'm looking like, okay, God, I thought it was fake at first because they always put the uniform on some guy. They had the Laker uniform on Kawhi's like. And then I was like you, Skip. I was like Dave, and I was like, okay, he got a Clippers uniform. Per Shams, he's going to the Clippers. And then Chris Haynes. I was like, hold on. These guys they don't know how to Photoshop no jersey on some guy. I say, man, this some bull jive. This was before I even knew he had got Paul George. It was some bull jive that he was going to the Clippers. And then a minute later, they also I said, man, how did Kawhi pull this off? As quiet as he is. But see, the more quiet was real sneaky, Skip. That's why I don't fool with cats. Because they got padded paws and they sneak up on you. He over there in the corner. Next thing you know, he rubbing up against your leg. How you get so close to me so quick? And that's what Kawhi did. He all quiet and everything. Did nobody think anything. He done pulled the rug out from under Toronto, snatched, got the Lakers. Now El Segundo, and then we got to go way out here to Westlake Village. Do you know how far a drive that is? And he all the time, he got Paul George holed up in the same hotel. Man, this joker dirty Kawhi, you dirty Kawhi. That was some real dirty stuff you pulled on us, Kawhi. And I'm going to forgive you for it, Kawhi, because I feel...
Dirty?
Yeah, it was dirty.
You think?
It was dirty how you put it. You
know what? This is business.
I love that's dirty business.
I don't think I know you're gonna probably say he was using the Lakers. I don't think it was using them. I think he was.
Well, I like
would
it.
have ended up there.
Because you know what? Because that way I don't care. I don't care. He Kawhi. He showed up. He's still okay. Skip. You know what? A part of me, I'm disappointed. But I was thinking about it yesterday. I mean, like, how unfair would that have been? AD, Kawhi, and LeBron. We got another Golden State situation, and everybody was waiting for that monopoly to break up.
This is better for the NBA.
Yeah.
It's better for the NBA.
But we still got the best two. We got the best duo.
So Chris Broussard does not know this, but we actually have an audio recording of my reaction on Friday night when the stealth bomb dropped. DJ, could you drop that track? Am I right?
Yeah, you like that. I got me.
For months, I've tried to tell both of you guys, this is the guy you cannot trust. This is the guy who quit his way out of San Antonio with a thigh bruise because he wanted to get back to LA. And he knew it might take 1 year in purgatory in Toronto, and he paid his dues to Toronto, and he left them with the championship. You got to give him that.
Yes.
But this was brilliantly devious. And yes, I am convinced that all week he or Uncle Dennis leaked, especially Uncle Dennis in this case, leaked false information to mislead all the media and keep them off the Paul George trail.
I give you the credit. Absolutely.
Okay?
That's what I believe.
And I believe everybody got duped. I believe everybody got taken for one long ride. And it was a long week, man, because I kept saying, what is he doing, just playing this for all it's worth? Nope. Behind the scenes, he is frantically negotiating because, to your point, he took a shot at Kevin Durant. And Kevin said, no, I want to stay Northeast. You know, at that point, it was still Knicks,
I think he wanted
Nets.
New York.
Yeah,
He wanted-
okay,
I mean,
all right,
the
whichever,
city,
it worked
city,
out.
right.
And then he took a shot at his friend Jimmy Butler, and I still don't know why Jimmy said, I want to be a solo star in Miami, but he did. And it left number 2 on an island of, my heart's with the Clippers. The Clippers have recruited him like crazy for a year.
All year.
They were sending executives to his games. It's like high school recruiting. Like, you know, the coaches show up, the assistant
They
shows
hired
up.
Lee Jenkins.
Yeah.
As basically a private investigator.
Again, the Sports Illustrated
writer.
great writer from Vanderbilt University, by the way, but all the great profiles he's written. He wrote LeBron's
Coming Home.
Westbrook, LeBron,
Yep, he did it all. And now he's employed by the Clippers in part as a presentation to number 2. Here, we are it. We are your destination. We are in your home area, and we have a better organization than the other organization. And then whatever little chance the Lakers might have still had if Paul George fell apart, Magic Johnson doomed. He
with all the leaks, with
all
all
the
the
leaks.
talking.
Why would he tell that?
I still think they would have got him, but the front office being in such disarray was an issue
it was
too.
just terrible.
But yeah, but you're right. We talked about it. I mean, everything was coming out.
So because he got off the rip, Skip, before he even set foot in the door. I can't trust you. He called Matt. Skip, he didn't want, if he'd have wanted, he could have leaked that information that I'm going to talk to Magic. Why would Magic feel that, you know what?
I know why. Because he had, walked out the back door on the Lakers, but he wanted to prove to Laker Nation, I'm still your guy. I'm your ambassador.
Right.
I'm still, let me back in your good graces because I'm going to help you pull off the ultimate get. It's this guy. And he's dialing up and texting his friends in the media, and it's leaking everywhere. And it sounds like, by many reports this morning, that number 2 and Uncle Dennis said, okay, that's all we needed to know.
Oh, seal.
Yep.
He a seal.
Yep.
Can't hold.
I mean, it was stuff was coming out left and right.
Then the ultimate disrespect from Ramona Shelburne is what you keep bringing up, is that he changed the meeting place from El Segundo, where their practice, their office is, to Westlake Village, and he made Jeannie Buss and Rob Pelinka drive all the way out. It's like with no traffic, a good hour.
With no traffic.
That's with no traffic. And once they got in their car to go back, it would be 2 hours back. And it's the ultimate disrespect to them and in turn to LeBron, because LeBron had obviously conferred with him and said, I'll defer to you, right?
Well, they might have took the chopper out there. I hope they took the chopper out there.
Maybe.
But it was unbelievable, because here's the thing. Obviously, we knew the Clippers would keep this quiet because it would behoove them to keep it quiet.
Yep.
But how no one from OKC, none of those great reporters.
Even Toronto.
Nope. Yeah, because
they were somewhat involved.
Because here's the thing. But Toronto also, Kawhi pulls up and they got camera crews following him. He like, how the hell anybody know I was coming? Or he pulls up at the hotel and there's stretches and throngs of people. He like, how the hell they know I was gonna be here? So now the Lakers can't hold water. Toronto can't hold water. And the Clippers got a mouth full of water, gagging on water, and won't nothing come out.
Right.
And I kept saying on Friday, I feel sorry for the Clippers because they're the only one who played the game by the rules, and they're shut out.
And they got rewarded.
They got rewarded.
It was a great point, a telling point, Skip.
Yeah.
Unprecedented, really, in today's media age that it was kept this quiet.
It was unprecedented.
No mercy.
So the Clippers added Kawhi Leonard and Paul George to their roster this weekend, and boom, they now own the best odds to win the title next year. They're just ahead of the Bucks, then the Lakers. The purple and gold did not get Kawhi, but LeBron's squad has added Anthony Davis, Boogie Cousins, and Danny Green, among others, this offseason. Chris BROUSSARD still hanging with us. Chris, give us your thoughts. Should the Clippers be the odds-on favorites?
Look, the Lakers regrouped incredibly well. You know, obviously they lost some players they would have gone after. Had Kawhi, you know,
I wouldn't go incredibly.
I
wouldn't be doing it.
It's called scrambling.
Just for what was left.
Yes.
You know, it would have been different if they had not gone after Kawhi or he had signed somewhere earlier. But for what was left, they did a good job. And I think it's incredibly close between the Clippers and the Lakers. And I reserve the right. This is not my official prediction for next season. We'll do that in the preseason. But right now, I think the Clippers are the best team in the league. I think for a few reasons. Number one, their team fits together better. At least right now, like we look at the Lakers and we kind of wonder, okay, is Boogie, does he even fit in today's game? Who's starting? Is it going to be AD at the center, LeBron and Kuzma on the wing?
He don't like playing the
or
five.
Is it going to be Boogie at the center, AD and LeBron, and Kuzma's coming off the bench? So it's just some things to be worked out. I like the fit better with the Clippers. The Clippers are going to be terrific defensively. I mean, you have in a league where wing defenders is the ultimate weapon. They've got the two of the three best with Giannis. And so you have George and Kawhi, and then you got at the point of attack Patrick Beverly, and then Montrezl Harrell. I mean, defensively they're going to be fantastic, and they have a better coach than the Lakers. So Doc is a championship coach, especially, you know, and know what else? These guys are all going to be coachable. I think Paul George is coachable.
He is.
Kawhi, coachable. I think they're just going to buy in. It's going to fit just like it did last year. You know, they're going to fit in with those guys. So I think the Clippers are the favorite. Now, I look at the Lakers, and I think they're going to be very good, especially in the playoffs. I don't know. Their regular season, they might win 54, 55, whatever. But in the playoffs, they're going to be a tough out because they're big. They did improve their shooting. I like the West. I got the Clippers number one. This is not seeding, but who I think just the 8 best teams. Lakers second best, Houston third best, Denver fourth, Golden State fifth. And if Klay is healthy, I put Golden State at 3 ahead of Houston.
Where's Utah?
I got Utah next, 6th.
6th?
I mean, look at who are they?
Utah easily
who are
wind
they ahead
up
of?
first.
Who are they?
Nobody.
I'm wondering who you putting them ahead. And then Portland and your Spurs get in at 8. Or maybe Portland's 8, but 7, 8 Portland Spurs.
Hey, Marcus Morris and DeMarre Carroll.
No,
they're
they're going
defenders?
to be tough. So
Yep.
I think the 8 playoff teams are set. I think those 8.
Okay.
No, before I go into my point, Skip, a guy that I follow all the time, he said, Shannon, you should have had an indication that Kawhi was going to the Clippers. You remember when Bruce Bowen took issue to Kawhi quitting? And what did they do? He worked for the Clippers, and they fired him immediately. And we like, why would you fire a guy that he didn't say anything about the guy that just played for you?
Year in the making.
Those clips. So good looking out for your boy, Kane. Kane hit your boy up with that little nugget. So
Guy you follow?
Yeah, we follow each other, so we talk back and forth. You know,
the Knicks have fired Clyde.
You just quoted some guy
about KD.
Just some follower.
Yeah.
You just quoted him on Undisputed?
You know that's common knowledge that they did with Bruce.
Yeah, but how many?
He didn't come up with
No. I'm saying they did it, and at the time, Skip and I, we talked about why are you firing a guy that made a statement about another guy that doesn't play for your guy?
You knew why.
They ain't put it in the bank like we get rid of. If you said anything about Kawhi, you talked about his hair, you talked about where he came, you got to get up out of here.
That guy won his championships in San Antonio.
San Antonio, and he took a shot. He took a shot at the guy in San Antonio, but for the Clippers smoothed away from him. I still got the Lakers because let me ask you a question. If you poll 30 general managers and you say, who would you rather have right now, Paul George or Anthony Davis, how many of those 30 taking Paul George or Anthony Davis?
They taking AD.
That's what we got.
You got the best two. But
Say it again.
But
So
it's
Skip
close.
can hear you. Because Skip ain't hear you.
Hold on. You got the best two, but will age be a factor? I don't know. LeBron in his 17th year, will that be a factor? It's already a factor because he doesn't defend like he used to.
Will injuries be a factor with Kawhi?
It could. You're right. But I'm just saying, you got the best two, but after that, every point I made, counter those. Counter those points.
I love JaVale. See, me, I play JaVale at the 5.
Start? Well, he only going to play 15,
20 minutes. That's good. That's good. Now we can give Boogie that 30 minutes. Get Boogie
coming off the bench?
Boogie coming off the bench.
He's going to be happy coming off the bench.
We got to see where he is. Now, if Boogie is where we think Boogie can be 2 years after the injury, well, Boogie's going to start at the 5, AD will be at the 4. The question is, what are we going to do with Kuz? Because Kuz, I mean, if you got...
Kuz is, I agree.
I would bring Kuz off the bench and let him be in that second unit. But you got Danny Green. Danny Green is not the defender that he once was, but he can still defend at a high level. And he was second in three. Now, you love three-point shooting, Skip. You say you love three-point shooting.
Yep.
That guy was second in the league. Hit some big shots in the playoffs. Big shot, at one point in time, he held a record for the most threes made in an NBA Finals series. Remember that, Skip? Oh, yeah, so we got it.
That was a long time ago, 2013.
There you go, a long time ago.
Yeah.
KCP can shoot the ball.
They going to be tough. Look.
I like it, Skip. I love it. Look, the Clippers did what they did, but I still believe the Lakers should be favored.
Help me out on this.
Yes.
When was the last time LeBron James actually tried to play defense? Just really tried, where he said, I'm going to go out tonight and play defense. I can't remember. It might be 3 years ago, maybe.
He won't play.
I don't know.
Well enough.
Just enough?
He's going to play well enough, yeah.
Okay, entering year 17.
He'll play well enough.
But
that's what we got. That's why we got AD. That's why we got Danny Green. That's why we got JaVale, KCP. That's what they for.
You realize LeBron just got Space Jam by number 2.
We good.
Right between the eyes.
We
got
good.
Space Jam.
Okay.
So you got the Clippers too?
I'm giving the Clippers a slight edge over Utah. Over Utah.
Oh, you got the Lakers third.
I got the Lakers third right here, right now. Utah is serious business, and I'm glad you picked them 6 because that's going up on their bulletin board. Oh, Broussard says we're 6.
Can I get some due? Can I get some due on Utah?
Again, right here, right now, we got a long way to go.
They won't be the 6th seed, but they the 6th best team.
They are deep and they are powerful. And Mike Conley's going to change their world because he's the most underrated point guard in the world. And it's not even close because I know him from many playoff battles past against my Spurs. He knocked me off my couch again and again where I'd say, please, somebody stop him, and you can't stop him. He's clutch and he's shrewd. And
Danny Green shut him down, though.
Danny Green will shut him down. And by the way, Danny Green is lucky because LeBron actually owed him a favor because he did LeBron the biggest favor of LeBron's career.
Oh, my goodness.
You realize Danny Green never got out of Greg Popovich's doghouse over what happened with 23 seconds left in Game 6.
He tried to snowbird. He tried to get an easy layup.
He tried to cherry pick. He takes off running. He was actually guarding Mike Miller, not LeBron.
Right.
So LeBron misses a 3 with 23 seconds left, and the long rebound goes right to Mike Miller, who's like, well, here, LeBron, try it again.
And he hit it.
And LeBron goes right up and rips it and cut it down. It was a 5-point game at that point. So the Spurs could have the ball with, let's say, 21 seconds left with a 5-point lead.
Right.
Now, number 2 just quickly turned around and missed a free throw.
Never
forgave him for that
exactly. He's never gotten out of Skill's doghouse for that one. What about Manu? Because Manu missed one.
He missed one much earlier than that, but it didn't really count. So the point is, I'm giving the Clippers the edge because of, number 1, defense. They're a much better defensive team than the Lakers.
No question.
Number 2, they have a closer, and I'm not sure who closes for the Lakers. I am not convinced. Huh?
You're talking about
Sweet Lou Williams. He can close like crazy. He did not close games 4 and 6 against Golden State. I was extremely disappointed, and that was at Staples.
Yeah.
He came up smaller than he is.
He played better on the road than he did at home.
He did. but he still gives them a weapon off the bench I don't think anybody in the league has. And they have now the two best two-way players on the wings, and Patrick Beverley is simply the best point guard defender in basketball. And now that front line, maybe not on length, but it reminds me a little bit of the Jordan Pippen Harper front line in '98. You couldn't get the basketball across half court against them because they just lined up and said, here we are. And they were they're long, but so are Paul George and number 2. They're long. And Patrick Beverley is just a pit bull. So again, it's going to be hard to deal with them. And again, this is haunting the Lakers. Big Zubats, and they brought him back, and he is a rim protector. You loved him last year.
And
he can score.
And he was playing. Yeah, he had moved. Yeah, but
I'm sorry, that goes on Magic's record because he just gave him away from Muscala at the.
But let me ask you this, Skip. We're talking about the West. You don't like the move the Sixers made with Al Horford?
Okay, well, that's fine. That's a whole other issue. Yes, I do. They're the best team in the East.
Philly and Milwaukee.
But I like Philly a little better than Milwaukee.
But you got the Clippers. So you got the Clippers, and you got the Clippers slightly over the Lakers.
Yeah, I got Utah slightly over the Lakers. That's 1, 2, 3.
You got them 3. See,
and then, listen, I'm not writing off Golden State because if Klay comes back 100% healthy, he's a clutch closer, too.
I agree. Yeah. I mean, remember, this could be the Golden State team similar to the one that ran through the league in 2015 and 2016.
Yeah.
So I'm not writing them off either if they're healthy. What I hope happens is Klay comes back with maybe 2 months left in the season, and by playoff time, he's 100%. That might be asking a lot.
That's going to ask
But if they are, I don't write them off either. And if Houston can get itself together,
I understand.
They could be there.
They could. And then we're about to talk about Russell Westbrook in the next topic, but Oklahoma City just unloaded Jeremy Grant to Denver, and he's a really nice player, and Denver only got better.
Denver's loaded
up. I just moved Denver after that trade ahead of Utah.
So Oklahoma City is starting over.
But I tell you who's not starting over.
Yeah, who?
The purple and gold.
Really?
Oh, no.
You mean you're building around a guy in his 17th year? That's impressive. Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah. Interesting.
They put buildings
around. How long he'll stay healthy. I'm knocking on wood for him.
So what? They don't put anything around the Eiffel Tower? They got buildings around the Eiffel Tower. How long has it been there?
The Eiffel Tower doesn't move. It doesn't have to move. It doesn't have to play defense.
That guy right there. We still got the best guy.
Okay.
He's going to show you. Now, when he wins the MVP, I don't want to hear that it was a sympathy vote and everybody felt sorry because he didn't get Kawhi and he was spurned by Paul George. I don't want to hear any of that.
And by the way, the Stifle Tower is in Utah. Right?
Well, we got Japan. Let's see what he do with AD. Let's see what
he's a superstar there. Because you know that's
Donovan
what you
Mitchell.
Need, right? Okay.
He's going to emerge. Mike
He's
Conley will make him a superstar and a clutch closer.
Skip, he's not a superstar. We got 2 of them.
Remember, you just said that. We got it on tape.
All this debate tells me we are going to have an awesome NBA season. There's what, 8 to 10 teams you could make a case for.
No mercy.
Russell Westbrook wants out of OKC, according to Woj. This news came down after Paul George demanded to be traded from the Thunder to the Clippers, basically leaving Russ for Kawhi. The Athletic reports the Heat and Pistons have interest in Russ. And what about the Rockets? A source told ESPN that Houston is a, quote, long shot for a deal, but a trade anywhere might be tough since Russ still has 4 years, over $170 million left on his deal. Chris Broussard still with us this morning. Chris, $42.8 million a year average salary for Russ. How difficult is it going to be to trade him?
Look, I have the utmost respect for Russell Westbrook's game. I mean, what he's done with the triple-double is incredible. He will not only be a Hall of Famer, I think he's a legend for doing this, unless people start averaging triple-doubles left and right. Like, this is legendary. However, if you trade for him, and I think every team most teams in the league know it, when you trade for Russ, you are trading for relevancy and to become significant and maybe a second, maybe a third round playoff team. That's what you're trading. You're not going to win you're not trading to win a title because the way he plays, he's not going to lead a team to a championship. Okay? So, with that said, I think there's only a handful of teams that'll be interested. Of course, Houston. I mean, they're interested in every big name. Can you imagine Westbrook, Chris Paul, and James Harden together.
Well, they'd have to trade Paul. I guess that they would get rid of one bad contract for another.
And that's the thing. I don't see OKC. That would go against everything they're trying to do. Is
they're totally
to get
rebuild.
Chris. I know it would be one fewer year than Russ has, but still, that makes no sense. Yeah. So, Houston, that's ridiculous. Miami, they're looking for Hail Marys too. So maybe would they do it and see if Russ and Butler will work? I don't really like it together, but possibly. The one team that's reportedly interested that I think should do it is Detroit.
Yep.
Detroit. Like, you're in the East, so you never know. And you have Blake Griffin and Russ. How would it work? At least one's a guard and one's a forward. Yeah. And so you try it. Detroit was out of the playoffs, I believe, 7 straight years, irrelevant. And then they tried that, break it down, let's build, get lottery picks and all that. It failed. So then they go out and trade for Blake Griffin and try to, let's be good now.
Right.
So go get Russ. And you'll definitely be a playoff team, maybe a second-round team, and who knows? You get Russ, works some magic, plays well. Griffin's great.
Yep.
The East is not the West. Even though Milwaukee and Philly are good, it's not the West. So I think Detroit is the place.
I am with you.
It's very difficult. I kind of feel bad for Russ because he keeps trying to marry these guys and they divorce him after a short period of time. Skip. I feel bad for him, and it's hard to look at this and say this is not an indictment on his playing style. They might like him, but his playing style, they don't feel is conducive.
Did you see what Kevin Durant's brand manager tweeted or Instagrammed? His is his brand, KD's brand manager. You didn't see? He Instagrammed that, it was harsh. Nobody wants to play with Russ. He said he doesn't care about winning. He just cares about his statistics. I don't necessarily agree with it, but it was harsh. And you can't help. This is KD's brand manager and friend. So you can't help but think that he's heard something from KD.
Skip, he'll be 31 in November, and with 4 years left on that deal. 34, at the age of 34, he'll have a player option for $47.1 million. Skip, how unless you're trying to move, because he will put butts in the seats, because the triple-double is box office and people want to see that. But Skip, that's an albatross. The only worst contract is John Wall, because John Wall's not playing this year because he just retore his Achilles in February. That's the only worst contract. I don't know how. Miami, Jimmy Butler wants the ball. That's why Jimmy Butler didn't go to L.A. That's why Jimmy Butler didn't go to want to pair with anybody. Jimmy Butler wants to be a star again. He wants to be a solo act. He ain't trying to share the stage. He ain't trying to do no duet.
Nope.
He all about, hey, I'm solo, bro.
Right.
I'm doing my own thing. Right. And to put Russ, we wondered, how would James Harden and Chris Paul, can you imagine trying to put Westbrook and James Harden together, or Westbrook and Jimmy Butler together? Skip, that makes no sense. I just don't know how you do. But you got to move him because he's ticked off that he found out his name because I stayed when James Harden wanted out. I stayed when Kevin Durant wanted out, and he walked out the door and left you with nothing. And I say, I'm gonna ride with you. Look, if I don't win another title, I'm gonna give you everything I got, but I'm gonna stay loyal. And the first chance you get, you tried to get up off me, because the same thing with Kyrie. Once he found out they tried to move him, he said, okay, you want to trade me? Right. Trade me, because I am not playing again. Yep. Russ is going to adopt this same policy, Skip. He's not going to play there because he doesn't trust Sam Presti anymore, because Sam Presti said, you I got. Even when he lost Kevin Durant, he said, we still got Russ. Russ is our guy. We want guys that want to be here. And come to find out, you try to get rid of him.
Here's the other thing, Shannon. Is Russ upset that you just traded Paul George so quickly? This has all come to play in the last week or so. Yeah. Why not give us another shot? You know what I mean? I was instrumental in getting Paul George here.
What did LeBron tell him?
I thought Sam Presti might just dig in and say, nope, sorry, not going to do it.
He certainly could have.
Yeah.
Because remember, Skip, LeBron's, he called the owner, Dan Gilbert. Kyrie got 2 years left. Right. We ain't got to acquiesce to what he wants. Paul George had 3 years left.
But Sam Presti didn't want an Anthony Davis situation to transpire and turn into a dumpster fire in Oklahoma City next year.
And he also didn't want that big three in L.A. either.
And I also think Sam Presti is a shrewd enough operator to start thinking, you know what? I may need to just rebuild this right here, right now. And if the Clippers are that desperate to give me all those draft picks, and give me a couple of pretty good players, I'll take it now and I'll start over now.
Skip, I mean, do you actually think that they're going to be in the lottery unless they lose both of those guys? They're not going to be in the lottery.
Mm-mm.
So what lottery picks you going to be getting?
No, they're not going to be.
So the point is, Russell Westbrook is now a record-setting MVP on his way to becoming a guy who never won a championship or even got to a conference final in his career.
Well, he got to the finals.
He got to
I'm sorry. Well, as a solo act, like where he was the guy.
Not
That's
even
true.
the second round.
That is true.
Solo act.
So he is 31, going on 31, and in his age 32 season, I look at what happened to Allen Iverson, who was another high-contact player. What happened at 32 in Denver? He had his last good season, and then he just hit the wall hard. Mm-hmm. And I'm afraid Russ might hit the wall pretty hard. He's had, 3 different knee procedures or surgeries, right? Yep. And to me, he's a bad buy going forward. And I've said it from the start. I love to watch him. I just wouldn't want to play with him. I love how hard he plays, but I'm convinced now that he plays hard for himself more than his team, for his brand, for his stats, and that he slightly prioritizes starring over winning. And when you have a point guard with that mentality, it's hard to go win with that guy because I think everybody knows deep down it's about stats. It's about you criticizing him for the free throws, trying to get easy rebounds as the inside guy on the free throw, rebound. So in the end, I don't feel sorry for him. I still love to watch him, and you're right. He is relevant.
Skip, they yielded the man. You don't feel sorry for that? I mean, he stayed loyal to your team, OKC.
I'm shocked by it because I thought Paul George was the perfect running mate for him because Paul pledged allegiance to him.
You talking about the 4th of July?
Yeah.
When he came back on stage?
I mean, this was till death do us part, right?
Or until Kawhi comes
Thing.
along.
2 of the best fits for Westbrook were Kevin Durant and Paul George.
Okay.
And he couldn't win it with them.
Remember, they just won 1 game off Portland last year. So I think Paul George said, man, and Paul George had his career year.
Right.
Across the board, everything was the best. He led the NBA in steals and deflections. Mm-hmm. It was his best PER, his best win shares. Everything was great, great, great. And he still said, I don't know.
Yeah. But he professed his love to Russ.
Yeah.
Until death do us part. It's like getting married. Or until somebody better looking come along. Kawhi better than you, Russ. Don't. Hey, I still like you. But number 2 gives me a better opportunity to win. Kevin Durant was there. I was like, bro, I've been here 9 years. If we ain't got it here now.
Here's the thing for George. George now is looking at this will change. If they win a championship, this will change his legacy.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, he could be I know we say Skip and I are a little, not down on him, but he could become Scottie Pippen. And that's a great legacy. Yeah. I mean, Scottie, if they win, that's who he is versus being just a guy that was a great player, probably a Hall of Famer, but, never really won anything. So this is big. He made the right move.
Yeah.
So I'm with you. It's got to be a Detroit, Orlando, Minnesota, because he's just box office.
Hello. Boy, Carl Anthony Towns about to ask up out of Minnesota. If he goes to Minnesota with Towns, he just got Jimmy Butler up out of there because Jimmy Butler was taking the shot. Can you imagine?
But they're trying to get that Andrew Wiggins contract out from under.
Good luck with that one.
And it's a big one.
I tell you what, if I was OKC, I'd take Wiggins for where?
Yeah, I bet you would. I bet you would.
I think the only place is Detroit. Yeah. When I look at this.
And you're right. In the East, maybe they could
make some noise. You're relevant. You're significant. You're not winning
I'm glad we ain't got no kind of problem. My team ain't got no problems.
Really?
They ain't got no problem.
Got no closer.
We got a closer. Stop that. Stop.
Got some age issues going on. But no problem.
We got no problem. Skip, I'm telling you, listen to me. You asking for it. Leave the man alone. Do you want to see what he about to do?
I'm trying to leave him alone so he can finish Space Jam.
No.
Can I ask you, when the Clippers and the Lakers play, who you...
Spurs. I'm rooting for the Spurs. They can tie for all I care.
I want this game to be on Criminal. If this the game on Criminal, I'm going to be there.
Well, you better be.
I'm going to be there. I'm going to be there. Yeah.
It's going to be Christmas Day.
I mean,
what other game is
what day does Christmas fall on?
Definitely Christmas Day.
I sure hope it's a week. I hope it's a Friday. On
Saturday. Definitely Christmas Day.
Woo!
No mercy.
We are less than 2 weeks away from the biggest fight of the year on Fox pay-per-view. The legend, Manny Pacquiao, takes on undefeated Keith Thurman for the World Welterweight Championship. Catch it July 20th live on pay-per-view and the Fox Sports app. All right, back to the NBA this morning, where it appears we're seeing a new era of player control. A few weeks after Anthony Davis forced a move to the Lakers, Paul George demanded a trade to the Clippers to team up with Kawhi. Both Davis and George were under contract for at least another year with their former teams, but still maneuvered their way out. Shannon, do you like this new NBA?
I love it. I love it. I love the players having this kind of power because what we're seeing now, the paradigm start to shift. The players are starting to do to teams what the teams have done for so long to them. Let me ask you this, Skip. If the Clippers go to Sam Presti and say, you know what? We got 4 unprotected draft picks, a couple swaps, and a protected draft pick for Paul George. You think Sam Presti do that deal? Without a doubt. Now, Russell Westbrook never said, I want out. But Sam Presti was willing to put him in a deal to get him up out of town. So, in other words, the teams are always going to do what's in the best interest of the team. Now the players, and even though the league and the CBA has tried to make it cost prohibitive, we can give you an extra year if you stay with your team, and it'll be in excess of somewhere around $40 to $50 million. We saw Kemba, Kyrie, KD, Kawhi. We saw all these guys leave money on the table to take more of control over their careers that says, I want to go where I want to go. I want to play with who I want to play with, and there's nothing you can do about it. I love this, Skip. I love it. It's all the teams have been doing this. I mean, there's a reason why the Celtics and the Lakers played for all those in the finals all those years in the 80s because they had the best players. And the team put those teams together.
They did.
And the people have gotten accustomed, well, as long as the team do it, it's got to be right. But we don't want players. The player says, nah, we're going to remove you guys from the equation.
They are.
We are going to put teams together. And we're going to play where we want to play, when we want to play. Now, they've taken these long contracts. Skip, I remember Glenn Robinson signed a 10-year deal. And then it went down to 7. And so now the max deal you can get is 5. The guy said, I don't care. 5 years, 3 years, 4 years. If I want to leave, I don't care how many years I got on my contract, get me up out of here or I'm going to cause a stink. So I love it.
I don't love it. I'm one who has made the case repeatedly on this show that the NBA is starting to threaten the popularity of your game, the National Football League.
Yep.
And yet, now I'm starting to feel it's starting to tilt back the other direction because probably older guard, some people out there are going to say, wait a second, do contracts no longer matter? Because it seems like they just don't matter. It just, you don't.
They never matter.
Okay, all right. Well, you can make that case. But again, the owners basically run the National Football League. The players are starting to run the National Basketball Association. So why haven't we seen this in your league? You're in the Pro Football Hall of Fame.
They don't have guaranteed contracts.
Okay? Except for the quarterbacks. They mostly have guaranteed contracts, right? So when are we going to see a quarterback say, you know what? I don't have enough help.
No.
I want to go there.
No.
And if you guys don't like it, I'm just going to start throwing interceptions. Or I just won't even try anymore.
Right.
I don't want to play. Don't play me anymore. Have we seen that yet?
No.
Are we looking, is that in the future for the NFL?
No, because, Skip, I think the thing is for basketball, it's always been a players' league. And they've never had this kind of power, but they've always had power now. There's a reason why Magic Johnson can go to Dr. Buss and says, I want him gone after he's won a title.
True.
Larry Bird saying, I don't want to play for him anymore. Get me another coach.
Okay, but neither one of those guys went to their owner and said, get me out of here.
No. But they've always had that kind of power. The NFL players have never had this kind of power because they've never had the guaranteed contract. Skip, when you get guaranteed money, it emboldens you. Because what you going to do? Nothing. See, in football, you act a fool, they cut you. And then what you got to show for it? It looks so good. He signed a 5-year, $115 million with $80 million guaranteed. Well, basically, you got what you signed for in the year that you played, and that's it. Cut a basketball player, and he gonna get all $171 million or all $200 million. So they have that kind of control. They have that kind of leeway. I love it, Skip Bayless, because teams have been Blake Griffin didn't ask to be traded. Clippers got it right up out of Dodge. A lot of these guys don't ask to be traded, but we doing what's best for the team. And players will say, you know what? We are a brand now. I want to do what's best for my team. And it's best for my team to get up out of here.
Okay, are we looking at chaos ensuing?
Maybe.
Are we looking at player after player saying, I've just had enough of this situation. I want to play with my friend so-and-so over and so-and-so.
Oh, no, don't.
And at some point, it's going to start hurting the brand that the NBA has built because a lot of fans aren't going to love this.
I'm going to tell you what's going to happen. Don't let Giannis win a championship in the next couple of years. Oh, he about to get up out of Milwaukee.
Okay, I get that one because he will have earned the right to go he will become a free agent. But when I go back to your game, I saw Le'Veon. He just decided, I want out, I want more money, whatever. I don't love it here anymore. And what happened to him? He lost $14.5 million just sitting, right?
Because, see, Skip, you can't be free if you inhibit my ability to go somewhere else. I put a tag on you. I can franchise you. I can transition you, and then you can't leave. And basketball players, once my contract is up, you got nothing. Football always have that leverage. So you really, in baseball have, freedom like that. If Mike Trout went to Artie Moreno, the owner of the the Angels, and says, you know what? I want to leave. Now, he just signed that massive deal, $400+ million. But if he says, I want to go to the Yankees, they're going to find a way to make it happen. There's not a situation in football, I don't believe that'll happen because they have so much control. They don't want those floodgates to open. You know the NFL, Skip, they try to suppress all negative behavior. If you don't believe it, ask Cap.
Okay, I got you on that. But what I don't like, what sticks in my craw and rubs me the wrong way on principle is what number 2 did to my Spurs, where he just said, I want to go to L.A., so I'm just going to quit.
He was hurt.
He wasn't hurt. So think of what happened. He misses 73 games and he makes $18 million. Really? Anthony Davis last year missed, 26 games?
They signed him.
He played in parts of 56 games, and he made $25.4 million.
That's New Orleans. New Orleans chose to do that. AD wanted to play.
I don't know.
Look at Cleveland. Okay. Look at JR. They say JR go home. He's making $16 million and nobody said a word.
Okay, are the smaller NBA markets going to just start drying up because they can't? Again, New Orleans rallied because they got David Griffin, then they hit the lottery, but it took hitting the lottery to rally, right?
What Skip, you got to if you're a small market team, you're not going to attract free agents, you better hit the ping pong ball.
Yeah.
And what happened with Michael Jordan, he's missing more than he's hitting, and then when he hits it with Kemba, he can't keep him.
Oh, as a GM.
As a GM, you know what I'm saying? You can't keep him. I mean, OKC, you're not really going to get anybody. But you got KD 1 year, and then you got Russ the next year, and then you got James Harden, and then you get Serge Ibaka. You're like, okay, we're in the money. But you got to be able to keep them. If you can't keep them, Skip, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter big market, large, small market, medium-sized market. It's a talent-based league. The superstars run it because Kawhi says, I want to play with Paul George. He goes to Paul George. Yep. We didn't even know they had that type of relationship. Kyrie and KD, Skip, everybody saw this coming from a mile away. He goes to Paul George and convinces Paul George to go to Sam Presti and say, get me up out of here with 3 years left. How?
Contracts don't matter anymore.
No, they shouldn't matter. They never matter to the owners because they've been trading them for years.
No mercy.
FS1 is your destination for the day's best sports shows. First things first, we'll be live from Cleveland tomorrow to get you all ready for the Baseball All-Star Game. Catch it all Monday through Friday right here on FS1. Magic Johnson spoke with Kawhi Leonard last week before the Claw's big decision. News of the conversation went public, which violated the wishes of Kawhi's camp. Some now feel that leak hurt the Lakers' chances to sign Kawhi. Despite that speculation, Magic tweeted out this weekend, LA has just become the king of basketball, with the Lakers adding AD, Cousins, Danny Green, JaVale McGee, and KCP, and Kawhi Leonard and Paul George joining the Clippers. It's going to be awesome to watch NBA basketball in LA this season.
I thought he was a Laker.
Exactly. Shannon, how much do you think Magic's leaks hurt the Lakers with Kawhi?
Skip, maybe Kawhi would have already, maybe that was his predetermined that he was going to the Clippers.
Yep.
But this could not have possibly helped. A guy that shrouds himself in secrecy, that wants his conversation to remain that secret. And not only did Magic say, tell everybody that, yeah, Kawhi called me and wants to talk. When he actually talked to him, he told everybody what they talked about. So Kawhi goes this already. I can't trust Magic. Because no matter what his title is, official or unofficial, he's still a representative of the Lakers. And then he gets there and he's talking to Jeannie and he's talking to Rob Pelinka. He said, but why do I keep hearing about, what's this about Linda Rambers? What's this about Kurt Rambers? What's this, all this other stuff? I mean, but I'm talking to you guys, but that's not what I hear. So the dysfunction, basically, Steve Ballmer cuts the check. Jerry West runs everything, and then Lawrence Frank, and then whomever, and then Doc Rivers, and the trade. All that falls up under that purview. There is no, well, this guy's, no. Jerry West, and then everything falls up under Jerry West.
Correct.
And only one person is above Jerry West, and that's Steve Ballmer. So all that, Skip, I believe, had something to do. Now, maybe, like I said, it was a foregone conclusion. But this did not help the Lakers situation.
This is very hard for me to talk about because I love me some Magic Johnson. Loved him as a player, love him as a man, love him as a businessman. There's nothing not to love about all of that, of the above. Have not loved him as a GM of this team. And I believe he badly damaged whatever chance they had of landing number 2 on 2 fronts. And that was when he quit and then he trashed the whole front office.
Right.
Basically, Pelinka and Jeannie. And then he immediately leaked, not just that he had the conversation, then to the LA Times, he leaked a detailed account, a breakdown of everything said in that conversation. Well, that's just a big old red flag of no.
Yeah.
Don't do that.
Right.
Because he's still trying to make the case that he still, Magic said here in the last few weeks, I talk to them every day. He still feels like he's part of the front office. He just didn't want the responsibility of having to bear up.
Go to work every day.
And also to take the credit or the blame in this case. And there was a lot of blame because as a GM, the truth is, the harsh truth is, he was Jordan-esque. Right? And that's not a good thing because Michael Jordan has become the worst GM in the history of basketball.
Let me ask you this. If Kawhi signs with the Lakers, what does that do for Magic? He
made it about him, I got him.
I got LeBron and Kawhi.
Yeah, now I did.
So now, even though I dipped out, I'm still a part of it. Even though I don't work for the Lakers, I'm still doing favors for the Lakers. I'm still your guy.
Trying to pull that off. Nope.
But Skip, why would you ever tell that Kawhi reached out to me and we're going to have a conversation and then turn around and tell everybody the conversation and what you guys discussed? Why would you think that would be? Why would you think, I don't care, forget it's Kawhi, who's very secretive. What player you think wants to have a conversation and have it played out in the newspaper or on every radio show?
Especially that player.
Yes!
Wrong way. And again, I love Magic, but I think he deserves whatever blame there is for them not landing him. Like you said, maybe it was premeditated, but whatever blame there is, it should be on Magic.
He didn't help.
No.
Not at all.
No mercy.
Congratulations to Team USA. They defeated the Netherlands yesterday to win their 2nd straight Women's World Cup. Megan Rapinoe won the Golden Ball and the Golden Boot. The Americans have now won a record 4 Women's World Cups. Amazing job, ladies.
Yep.
Welcome back, everybody. The Herd is coming up next here on FS1, so let's head over to Colin Cowherd. Colin, what you got for us on today's show?
Did LeBron James get dissed by Kawhi Leonard? My thoughts on that, a lot of hoops, some A-Rod from the All-Star Game, too. That's coming up.
Thanks, Colin. Time for our final topic of the day here on Undisputed. Kevin Durant has a new address in Brooklyn and a New Jersey number. KD announced yesterday he's switching from the number 35 he wore his first 12 years in the league to number 7. Shannon, your take on this?
No, I'm just reading his statement that he released on his Medium, social medium. I think that's what it is. And he said basically it's a new chapter. He's going, he's been 35 at Texas, in OKC, and he went to Golden State, and he appreciates what the number has been able to bring him and take him places that he never thought he'd go. But as he embarks upon a new chapter in his life, he wants to start afresh. And 7 is the way he wanted to go about it. So I don't have a problem with it. We're going to sell a bunch of jerseys.
I'm just trying to figure out why 7. And I thought, is it a nod to Colin Kaepernick?
Yeah.
Maybe.
But I saw him in an interview, I guess after a game, Skip. He had a hat with a number 7 on it. I didn't think anything about it.
I don't know. Is he a John Elway fan? Is that possible? I don't know. Is he a Mickey Mantle fan? I doubt it.
I doubt it.
Right? And I looked down the list of NBA stars who have worn 7. Carmelo has worn it,
Yeah.
but really,
Joe Johnson wore it in Brooklyn.
He sure did. Tiny Archibald, Kevin Johnson, Chauncey Billups, Kukoc, Kyle Lowry now, but it's not a long list of 7s.
Right.
It's not been a popular superstar number.
Well, he'll definitely be the best guy that ever wore that number.
Yeah.
So I just think, he's starting over. He's starting a new chapter in his life. He wants to start fresh. I think everybody's going to always remember him, just like LeBron. It's not like a Kobe situation because he switched it up 10 years at 8, 10 years at 24. I just think Kevin Durant has been in 35 for so long, everybody's still going to remember him as the guy that wore 35.
I just want to hear why.
No mercy.
Thanks for listening to the Undisputed Podcast. I'm Jenny Taft. Join us again at the same time tomorrow morning, 9:30 Eastern. We'll see you then.
Fox Sports 1 of 1.